Opportunity to speak on this important amendment bill to the Misuse of Drugs Act. I think the Honourable Peter Dunn certainly deserves congratulations for bringing in this SOP that will effectively ban something like 43 synthetic cannabinoids that are known on the New Zealand market at present. And I've no doubt that the mums and dads of New Zealand will breathe a significant sigh of relief when they hear of this legislation. There's no question that the availability of these synthetic cannabinoids have become more and more apparent as the year has gone on, and particularly in the last few months. I've been absolutely surprised at what I would view as irresponsibility of many of the retailers in the way that they will sell these products flagrantly in areas where there are a lot of children present, close to schools, etc. In my view, Mr. Chair, the manufacturers, I should say, of these synthetic cannabinoids are on the whole very cunning and ruthless and will stop at nothing to make money out of this range of products, let alone will stop at nothing to entrap young New Zealanders into becoming dependent on them. So this interim measure is indeed an extremely important one. I will remember Matt Bowden, who we've seen on the TV recently, appearing before the Health Select Committee some years ago and saying how he felt that good manufacturing practice was so important to him. And yet we have seen these products come into New Zealand and be manufactured with additives of prescription medicines within them. Now that is clearly not a case of having good manufacturing, and I don't believe we can trust this spectrum of manufacturers that are so high and mighty in terms of their views on this issue in New Zealand. In fact, I think they need to be absolutely sidelined. The Honourable Peter Dunn's SOP will indeed allow time to implement the Law Commission's recommendations to legislate that the manufacturers of these psychoactive drugs will have to prove that they are safe. And I must add here that if they are psychoactive substances that are smoked, we learnt during the submissions from the Ministry of Health that just about every product that is smoked or inhaled has a carcinogenic effect. It will be very, very hard to prove safety. And so there's no doubt that this has to be done very carefully. And as the Minister pointed out, the manufacturers will use every mechanism available to them to dream up some new way of presenting these drugs to the New Zealand public. Several years ago, there was an amendment that introduced a rapid mechanism to try and combat the fact that they would always be trying to be one step ahead of the legislators. So I think that it's almost impossible, and it proved impossible, for that legislation, and so consequently the sort of suggestion that the Law Commission has come up with is entirely irrelevant, and I am sure that the Minister will pursue those recommendations relentlessly so that we can indeed hopefully not only reduce the input of these drugs but do everything possible to minimise harm.
I call the honourable member